Now, thank you indeed. You're very welcome back to part 2. Do you know what? My opinion is this. History teachers and students, they'd be better off coming here to Cappagh
No, they wouldn't.
and listening to Billy Maguire, because I'll tell you, I have learned so much from my layman's ignorance of 1155, 1918, what happened, what Britain did, and the famine years, the savagery, the torture, the neglect, and right up to today, when Britain is leaving the European Union. And then they bring in this bow shot of internal regulations now to be made law within the next 2 to 3 weeks in Parliament in Great Britain. And that is already causing consternation for businesses in Ireland, for the border, for the 6 counties, and all the businesses in between.
And America. They've come out very strong.
They have come out. But you know what, though, Amelia, am I right or am I wrong in saying this, that Boris Johnson, pardon my language, doesn't give a fiddler's about America or Europe?
He doesn't.
Because I'll tell you why. The euro has gained strength against the sterling. But that's not a good thing for us. Our exports have soared in costs. So our problem is now that we're being damaged even as we say this, regardless of the official recession that we have, which is now formal since last week's announcement. And also with all the COVID and businesses barely struggling and a lot of them closing. Now our exports are going to be much dearer. And this is a very serious problem.
It is.
For an island nation,
but you see,
as
John,
we are.
The arrogance of the British always, and this is what we're saying.
I still think it's there.
100 years. But 100 years ago, they had the most...
they had the finest armies in Europe.
They had the strongest army
in
the world.
Yes.
And the strongest Royal Navy. But they don't have those today. And they still have that arrogance that they can do what they like. And you can go into any country they like and they can do what they like.
Yes.
And as I said, the slavery is what they exposed there. They didn't care. And they still don't care. But I'm going back to where they get there, which is so important to tell people. 1155 is the conflict. And that's what my father went to Rome to Pope Pius XII. That's what he did.
Yes.
To set up that in the university. And we gave Willowbank for that. And of course they gutted it since. But apart from that, and then go to Henry VIII. Henry VIII fell out of the Pope of Rome, and as we explained, that Roman Christians believed that only the Pope in Rome, Christ's vicar and the Pontiff, could anoint a sovereign. And he fell out of the Pope in Rome. He said he was equal to God and he didn't need the Pope. They haven't had sovereignty since then. And they have been going out to the world and plundering and robbing and plundering the world. And no one can say anything to them because they had the strongest army and the strongest navy, and no one could say anything. They'd find an excuse.
Britannia ruled the waves, as they say.
They did, yes. And still do hope they do. But there's a lot of other countries now. We had nobody. The only ones that we had on the 21st of January was Russia. They were the ones that supported us.
Yes.
America, only for America we wouldn't have got any place.
No.
But America are caught with Britain all the time. Because, as I said, where does America get their sovereignty from? And they don't have it.
Yes.
And any of those I showed you that.
Yes, know, that's right. The population.
All those.
But one thing, Billy, I just wanted to come back to that as well. What the talks are now that this new proposal by Great Britain and Boris Johnson and the British government to actually change the terms of the protocol already signed by the various governments and backed by Europe. The problem now is there could be a no deal.
There probably will be a no deal.
And they can walk away and we're in shatters.
We are, but the only thing is we have the European Union behind us. And we have America behind us.
Yes.
And we never had any of that before. And I believe we'll have, and as I read out there, that the European Union and our sovereign government, not the Free State government, that is our problem.
Yeah.
Because it is wrong, and I will read that letter to Mary and to all those politicians. Since the first sovereign Dáil Éireann government, Dáil Éireann sat in the Mansion House.
Yes.
And they all took the oath of allegiance. We said it there.
We did.
And to the state. But nobody takes the oath of it. They take a declaration. It's nothing. It's not even a legal entity. And those judges sitting up on the bench, and you go into court and you have to take an oath. And they sit there laughing at you. And all to get their salaries, their pensions, and they should come out and tell the truth.
Yeah.
All I'm asking is for people, whether it is the Roman Catholic Church or any other church, or the government or anybody else, you have to tell the truth when you come to this level of governing the state and governing the world. And that's what you do. You tell the truth and give the facts. And they're neither given either one or the other. The church and state are not giving us the facts, and they're not giving us the truth. And people need today, more than anything,
they're demanding it. And I'll tell you why.
And they have drugs and every other bloody thing going on, and you don't need it. No. All you need to be told the truth as a child and taught your history and taught it properly without
that is why history is so important.
It is
when it's taught correctly.
Correctly, and giving the facts without sort of a civil war and writing the facts and all
that's
these.
It. Yes.
But I feel myself that it's so important about what oath of allegiance, and I would like to ask Mairead McGuinness. She will give an oath to the European Union, and she won't give an oath to Dáil Éireann. Right. There is something very wrong with that.
Okay, that's a good point. I never thought of that.
Oh, she won't, and neither did Phil Hogan.
Phil Hogan, yes.
He never gave an oath of allegiance to the state. But he has to give one to Europe. You have to give an oath of allegiance and be accountable to the sovereign people. We don't care what you do, but you have to account every year to the sovereign people. And that's
I understand that now. Yes.
And that's why Mairead McGuinness has to come out and say what oath she's giving.
Right.
And those judges have to say what oath they're giving. And we will do it here. Is that light now?
That's fine. That's lovely, Billy. No, that's perfect.
Let's see. Can I see this? If I can see it, I'll read it, John.
Right. That's fine. Now, this is a letter.
This is the letter. Deputy Mary Lou MacDonald, TD, President of Sinn Féin, Leinster House, Kildare Street, Dublin 2, and it's on the Irish and Republican Brotherhood paper. Urgent European Union and Brexit, Article 50. That's what it's all about, Article 50. And dear Deputy Mary Lou MacDonald, TD, the Irish Republican Brotherhood, and in brackets IRB, and in brackets IRB Sinn Féin, that's what's in brackets, would like you, Deputy MacDonald, to clarify your position as President of Sinn Féin, and what oath of allegiance are you giving to the state, the Sovereign Republic of Ireland, ? As all IRB Sinn Féin elected TDs, excuse me, talk to donors. I take a sip of water.
No, you're grand. You're grand.
I'm giving out too much. All talk to donors. All elected TDs, talk to dollars in brackets, gave on the 21st of the 1st, 1919, in the Mansion House, Dublin, and GHQ Vaughan's Hotel, Dublin, and in brackets Vaughan's Hotel papers. All papers. All of the Sovereign Republic of Ireland, all elected TDs, chapter dollars of the Sovereign Republic of Ireland, the Sovereign Dáil Éireann government, and the Sovereign Dáil Éireann courts, four courts, and the War of Independence as a defence force, had to be accountable to the sovereign Irish people / citizens / and give their oath to the state, the Sovereign Republic of Ireland. That's underlined. Anybody can get this letter. You can download it.
Download Billy Maguire.
And you can download the other one as well.
Yes, okay.
If you want to read it yourself. Or is your oath to the Free State government that was imposed on the 6th of December 1921 to pay for Britain's war debts and war pensions?
No, you're okay. Well, if people want to read that, they can actually get that on.
You can get that, but I'll finish it.
Yes, yeah.
the sovereign Dáil government and the sovereign Dáil courts has no debt and owes no money, and was elected and established by the will and wishes of all the sovereign people citizens of Éire in the 1918 32 county All-Ireland election called by the British government on the 14th of December 1918. IRB Sinn Féin won 73 seats on the 28th of December 1918 out of a total of 105 seats. That mandate was ratified on the 21st of the 1st 1919 in the Mansion House Dublin and GHU Vaughan's Hotel Dublin by the sovereign Dáil government and the sovereign Dáil courts, four courts of the sovereign Republic of Éire, all 32 counties, territories and seas. And the quotation that's from, in brackets, Vaughan's Hotel papers. That's where that information comes from. And they were all given to the University of Limerick, as you know.
And they have them.
They have them, but
yes.
they won't tell anybody where they are or what they are, or anybody can read them, and that's what they were given for. As was Willowbank for what we just mentioned about the Pope and Rome for that peace reconciliation, which I'm insisting that they're either going to build that now or they give back Willowbank, the site of it, for the peace reconciliation for the world, and we'll do it ourselves, or we get somebody to do it. Dáil Éireann never sat in Leinster House. Leinster House was established unlawfully, illegally and fraudulently on the 6th of December 1921 when Michael Collins, the Free State Provisional Government, King George V of England and the British government bought the lease of Leinster House from the Royal Dublin Society, in brackets Dublin Horse Show, to impose the Free State under the threat of immediate and terrible war. We just explained about immediate, what they did.
Yes.
They always went in and caused the war, and then they did what they liked. Immediate and terrible war by King George V of England. The Irish Republican brother, IRB Sinn Féin, need an urgent reply to my letter and would like to meet you to clarify matters. The Irish Republican brother founded and funded the state, the Sovereign Republic of Éire, the sovereign Dáil government, the sovereign Dáil courts, four courts, and the War of Independence as a defence force. And then it's signed and sealed on the 10th of June 2020 under the sovereign seal of the Sovereign Republic of Éire, William James Maguire, President of the Irish and Fenian Republican brother, President of the Sovereign Republic of Éire, President of the Sovereign Dáil government, President of the Sovereign Dáil courts, and John Robinson, the Secretary of the IRB and the Fenian Republican brother, he signed it. Enclosed the IRB's 1916 proclamation, sovereign constitution, which is very important. The land of Ireland belongs to the citizens of Ireland, and to them alone. Where do the farmers think they got all that land from? Where do householders think you got the land? Because the IRB set up the Land Commission to give it to them.
Right. Very important point.
Independence, message to the Free Nations. First sovereign Dáil government, which is over there, will be showing through in a minute, the 21st, 2019. Articles of Agreement are signed on the 6th of December 1921. We saw, you saw that there as well.
But one point in that then.
Well, the point of the whole issue of this is, what oath of allegiance is she taking?
Well, that's a very good point, like Mairead McGuinness.
Yeah, what is
She's not taking an oath to
She's not taking any oath.
No,
it's
to European.
Huh?
It's to Europe she's making the declaration.
But Mary Lou isn't making it to Europe.
No, Mary Lou is
making any. But Mairead McGuinness or Phil Hogan or any of those people can't sit in Europe without. You can't sit without taking an oath to the Pope.
Right. Yeah.
And you can't sit in Britain. They can't sit in the House of Commons without taking the oath to the Queen. And here we're the only ones that don't take an oath when what is our government? Our government has no status. It's not a legal entity. It can't claim sovereignty. They can't use the sovereign seal. And you see that there, with Éire underneath it.
Yes.
They're illegally and fraudulently using they belong to the Irish and Fenian Republican Brotherhood. Our tricolour flag is belongs to proclamation, Declaration of Independence, address to the Free Nation, all IRB. Ours is a sovereignty and we hold that in trust as a sovereignty for the people.
Yes.
And here we have to they won't even put Éire. You have that seal, and no Éire underneath it.
Yeah, just show that there. Actually, yes, yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah, I see now exactly what you mean. Yeah, I
And
understand.
it's not, if you look at your passport,
Yes,
and
it
go and
has
look
that.
at the tax of your car, it has to have air underneath
It does, yes.
And the reason for that, that's the 21st of January 1919, is the Free State is manoeuvring this under Britain. But you see, since Article 50, once the Queen signed Article 50, the Free State was gone. She abdicated any claim she had in Ireland of the Free State. So we're back now to a 32 county again. That's why that letter is important.
It is very, no,
You understand
it
why?
has now, the parts have come
Once
together.
she
Yes,
signed Article 50,
50. Yeah.
she usurped the sovereignty of
Yes.
and the Free State is gone. It's completely gone. And here's our Free State government still going on. You see, Realtas Nahairn.
Yes, government
And that
of
is the
Ireland.
Free State is what it is. It's not the Sovereign Republic. And there should be question of that.
Yes.
But you can't even ring up RTE now and ask or if you have a complaint about it. There's no place. They won't talk to you.
No, they won't answer you.
And they won't answer you.
No,
They don't want to
shocking.
know.
Doing
You
that
ask any
myself.
departments, they won't tell you.
No,
Ask any paper, you can't talk to anybody. People are not. We have to go back to the people are sovereign.
well, it's actually going back to actually what happened in the golf outing up in Clifton. It's all one word.
Arrogance.
Simply one word.
Arrogance.
Arrogance and no accountability.
No accountability.
That's the problem. And it goes
But
right
if you-
through.
And that letter tells you if he signed that, I want Mary Lou
Yes.
and the rest of the politicians in Leinster House to go down to the Mansion House, to the Round Room, and take that oath of allegiance to the state, the Sovereign Republic of Eire, the Sovereign Dáil Éireann government, the Sovereign Dáil Éireann courts, and the War of Independence as defensive. We've had that, and be accountable to the sovereign people. That's all. And then Mary Lou is president of Sinn Féin.
Yes.
She can call herself Sinn Féin. She cannot call herself Sinn Féin now because she isn't. She's provisional Sinn Féin, and you've all these other Sinn Féins, and you've all these other people trying to